Hey guys, my name is Vlad. I would like to share with you some interesting and astounding personality. The man, one of my acquaintance, is an so-called inventor of neo-Marxism theory of vagina capitalism. I was very impressed by this word vagina capitalism. It's something connected with vagina. All we know vagina, we know what is it for, and economical theory of modern Western world, including world economy model, cross-cultural communications, including sociologists, aspects of economy, likewise. For example, mating habits of women, choosing of partners, or choosing some person whom we have sex. So that his name is Alex Podnebesny. He is the founder and leader of new Marxism movement. It is called anti-feminist left front. It means they fight against feminism. If you like feminism, please put this video, close it, and forget about it. Or you'll be offended, possibly. And this movement is also about fighting for people like me, like you, fighting for men who have difficulties with finding a wife, a girlfriend, or just finding a partner for impulsive one evening sex. So that, hey Alex,
Hi, hello.
talk with us, please. Uh, uh, would you please describe some your origins, some bio for our hearers and for our listeners and viewers? Um, a few words about you. Why it is some Marxism and what you have to do with the Marxism movement. Okay.
Okay, my name is Alexey Podnebesный. Also, you can call me Alex. I'm 42 years old, and for the last 10 or 15 years, I'm an ecology activist and also NIMBY activist, not in my backyard movement. And also, I'm a left wing activist, I'm a communist, and for the 2 or 3 years, I am developing a theory called vaginocapitalism. It is about suppression of men because women have their biological monopoly on giving sex to men, and that's why women can be rulers of the world. Actually, they can dictate their will to all the men, even to the oligarchs, because even oligarchs need to have sex, and women sell them their vaginas in exchange of their wealth and power. And so, real rulers of the world are women, not oligarchs, not capitalists. And in fact, there are two real classes left in the world. They are men and women, not proletariat and capitalists, because in the modern world, capitalists can degrade and become proletarian, and proletarian can get rich and become capitalists, but no man can become woman, and no woman would want to become a man, because women are upper class today. They have their biological capital, this is their vagina, and they can get any riches, any wealth in exchange of access to man for their vagina. And also, I want to say that what sex is, because there
Wait a
were
minute. Wait a
questions
minute.
about
Alex,
that.
Alex,
I'm
please,
shortly say I count for sex only sex between men and women, and there is no such thing as gay sex, and masturbation is not sex, only men and women, and that is only sex.
Alex, hold a minute. I'm receiving too much information. It's quite too much for our viewers, I suppose. Uh, let's sort it out. Let's step by step. We try to introduce your vision and your theory, and maybe we go straight to some methods and recommendations. So you say that women are ruling the world. Am I correct in understanding your thesis?
Women rule the world.
With their vagina. Is it clear?
Yes, yes. With their
Okay.
monopoly on giving sex to men.
Okay. So we're talking about their girlfriend, which is requiring some services, some money, some attention. Yes, and other goods from men.
To have a girlfriend, men must have many. I don't know
Sexual
how to
partners.
say. They can. A man must have a good position, social position. It must have a good job, some place to.
I understand. They want also be paid for sex with social status, which is
Social status,
transferred
yes.
which is transferred from the man to his wife.
Yeah, to have a girlfriend, a sexual relationship, because and women don't have to have any social status. She can be poor, she can be from poor family, she can be an orphan, and anyway, she will be wanted by a man. And
So,
if man is an orphan, he has
yeah,
no.
you mean
He's,
you mean wait a minute. I want to clarify something. Women are more social mobile. You see, they can use their vaginas to move upwards and or downwards to the social hierarchy. Yes,
yes,
so they can
don't
improve.
have to get a good education. If she has a vagina, she can use it and she can become some upper class
Okay.
representative. She can marry some rich man, and she just can be promoted by the mean of her sexuality.
So, is it possible for a man to have some penis capitalism?
It is not possible because there's no demand for men's penises. It's oversupply of men penises in the world, and women can have any man she wants. She just have to ask any man, and she will get his penis. But if man wants to have some women's vagina, it is not enough just to ask. He can produce some wealth, some social status, automobiles, homes, flats, and so on to get to her
So
vagina.
that means, am I clear? That means that the only way of a man to produce capital is only hard working or robbing some poor people or making political career for the status. And the only capital he will have social and wealth. Yes, and women make our social capital to be paid and wealth to be paid in exchange of access to her vagina.
That's correct. Women don't have to work. They just give their vagina to men and get money for that, and not even simple money, capital. Their vagina is their mean of production. This is self-growing capital of women. And men have to work, some real job they have to do. And women don't have to do that. They can sell their virginity for millions, and all other life they just can live for that money.
Okay, I saw also some ideas about selling not the sex but some substitute to sex, some low quality imitation or some expectation of sex to be sold for real wealth and social status. Could you tell more details about this aspect, please?
Expectations of women.
No. She sells not the vagina, not the direct access, but possibility of sex. But some I will maybe sometime, someday give you, but you give me money just now, right now.
That's some kind of marketing, I think, some kind of advertisement. And man can buy not sex, but chance to have sex with some women. And he must always to show his status. He must show that he is popular, he is successful, and just to get a chance to get to the vagina. No, that is correct, yes.
And 100 people, 100 men to be showed the possibility of sex. Yes, everyone pays, and it's like some lottery or maybe some TV show. The only one have sex in real, or maybe in modern capitalistic world. No one have the real sex, but 100 people already paid for the possibility.
Expectation, yes, they live in the
Yes.
expectation of sex, and I think that is why men are suppressed. That is why women exploit men. Women put us under exploitation, and that's why we are suppressed class today.
So they consume resources like the capitalist exploit the worker. Yes, they consume resources like labor resources, and the result of labor, like wealth, social status, just for instant one-time sex or maybe some sex contract. Likewise, it's some marriage. Yes, and in fact, what do we have when men became old and unable to buy sex? What do we have when the woman is too old to give sex, or maybe is too old to market it?
Women get a lot of money before that point of time, and up to the age of 30 or 35 she is rich enough to live her other life after that with the money she earned when she was young. And of course, when she becomes old and she is no longer so much in demand from men, but she is already rich, and feminism gives her much privilege in this world. Women are a privileged class. She has quotes in some work spaces. She can get work easily, more easily than men. So feminism gives her very much advantages, more than men have in modern.
Another question: how feminism is connected with vagina capitalism? How feminists look at this problem and this theory?
Well, it's a complex question. In some aspects, feminism is other side of vagina capitalism, because feminism makes men afraid of women. Some movements like Me Too and suits of harassment and accusations of rape. Men afraid to have sex with women, and but men's need to have sex is present. So men want to have sex but can't, and man's demand for sex is rising. It's higher, and so women can sell sex with bigger price. The prices for sex are soaring through the roof because of feminism, because the market of sex becomes smaller, and men have to buy sex for much higher prices because of feminism.
I see. The monopoly is described correct. So they make some artificial shortage of access to vagina. Then comes the higher and higher price, especially from people who can offer more in this auction, and just having a girlfriend or wife becoming service or Christie's auction. So I see.
That in our movement we choose sex is the rights of man. It is the constitutional right what we want to be sex. Sex is a right for men. But now sex became a privilege for men. It is not for everybody. It is just for 1% of very rich, super rich men or super attractive men, most beautiful men can have sex easily, and 99% of men can't have sex just for that, just to ask women and have sex. And women can have that. They can just come to any party and ask any man, and any man will be agree.
Yeah, they're just helping. Men are helping women constantly in order to have some possibility of access to her vagina. Yes.
Activity of men is motivated by sex, by wanting to have sex with women. They work because of sex. They make career because of sex. Then deny that. They do not agree with that, but that is true. And
they are enslaved with their primal instinct. Men are enslaved. Yes, am I correct?
They may deny that that is their main motivation and primal instinct, but that is true. And all men do, they do because of sex, because of need they have. Need in sex.
Okay, I see. One more question, maybe two, about the ethical part of vagina capitalism. The question is why it is vagina capitalism. Why you use such a vulgar term? The name of movement and the theory. Why it cannot be gender capitalism, or maybe reproductive sexual capitalism, or something else?
Some negative aspects. There are some negative aspects in all terms you now said. Gender capitalism. I'm against of this term gender. I think it is not scientifical because there are two sexes, men and women, and I deny that there are some other genders I think that is feminists' construction.
It's speculative. I see. It's speculative because it includes in this.
Because that's why I am against of using this term gender. Then you said sexual capitalism, yes, but you see, sex it has two sides, men and women. So when men give sex to the women, it is sex. But you see, in modern world, men's penises cost nothing for women. They can have any penises of men. So if we use this term, sexual capitalism, it can deceive us. It can be deceiving. It is too broad meaning. It has too broad meaning. It includes sex from men to women and from women to men. But it is not correct for our theory. Our theory says that only women can sell their sex, and that's why vaginocapitalism is more correct to describe the situation.
Women is choosing a partner.
Which more term I forgot? You said more terms.
Yes. Reproductive.
You see, it's a big mistake to consider sex as a mean of reproduction. You see, if we used sex only for reproduction, we would make sex one time in 9 months and no more. But we want to have sex any day, every day, constantly, because sex is not for reproduction. Reproduction is a side effect of sex. That's how I consider sex. And sex is just for sex. And also my theory says that there is no such instinct as instinct of reproduction. There is instinct of sex. We want to have sex not for reproduction. And all the animals, when they make sex, they even don't think that after that they will have puppies or their children. Yes, they don't have.
Yes. It's not about fostering children, but it's about having sex. And the animal have two different and separated instincts. First is having sex, and the second, and when the child are born, is mother or father instinct. Yes, and that's the different story. Just we people can have sex without thinking of reproduction and before reproduction and instead of reproduction.
The people have sex not for reproduction. They have sex just for sex. And when women sell their vaginas for sex, they sell it not for reproduction. When use contraceptives, not to have babies.
I want to clarify the term for our viewers. Not selling, but exchanging sex for sex. It means like some stock exchange, which is not using money as a middle operation.
The question, but truly they exchange it for wealth, for some other goods and so on.
Yes. You mean there is some boy and some girl? Yes, the girl come up to the boy and says, "Is it possible we have sex just now?" And the boy answers, "Yes, it is possible. I wanted to just now." They have sex and nobody owes nothing. It's like some hippie movement. Yes.
I think the hippie movement in end of 50s and 60s is some kind of vagina communism and sexual revolution in that time. The sexual revolution was suppressed by capitalists, by vagina capitalists, and it went wrong. Feminists became in the head of that revolution, and they killed it from inside, and that's why the movement has died.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got another ethical question about women. Hearing you, I and some viewers can assume that you hate women and you think that every woman is spoiled with money, with bad habits, fosters, and her understanding of right to exploit men. What age the vagina capitalism starts? Is it start during the puberty, like teenage period, or is it start after girl understand that she has instead of sex and instead of love she can sell sex for some money or social
I
improvement?
understand. You see, we live not only in vagina capitalism, we live in matriarchy. And when
Ah,
a little girl is not ready for sex, she is 3 years old, for example, she is not using her vagina capital, but she using her privileged position in matriarchy. And the men and boys open doors before them. They put, так сказать, some they give them privilege, вот, because
yeah, they favor women like a goddess.
she gets grown up, when she is some 15 years old, for example, when she can have sex, she becomes a vagina capitalist. Вот. And before that, she is just a privileged position because of matriarchy.
Okay, so the whole society is preparing her to sell her sex for money and status, social status.
All the society gives women all that they want. They are privileged in this world. They just have anything they want because she has a vagina. And society, state gives her welfare, all that she wants because she is a woman. You see, in Russia, Putin gave women 10,000 rubles before his re-election, or how to say it, before that vote in the change of constitution. She gave 10,000 rubles to women, not to men, only to women, and they call it mother capital. They call it money for a child. But in Russia, only mothers raise child. When a woman divorces man, she takes children with her. And if state gives money for children, state gives it to mothers, to women, not for men. That is the trick. So Putin gave.
Could you compare the child born by using vagina as some investment in the future wealthy life? Say it's like a surplus, like a harvest, like some profit she will have.
Some our researchers like Shumilov think so, but I don't think so. I think a child is not an investment. It's like a car. When you buy a car, it's not an investment. It's just a purchase. You must put money in that. You don't get money because of having that. You must feed it. You must buy some clothes to a child. So there are expenses you must have with the child. State gives some money for the children, but it's not very big money. It's not that we would strive to have. And I think most of women do not want to have babies, and that's why they support abortion. They struggle for the right to abort children, to abort their babies. So I don't think that being a mother is good for women in the eyes of vagina capitalism. No, baby is an option, but is not. It's not very good.
Okay. Now you've told me about some connected phenomena, social phenomena, like matriarchy, like feminism. Is it possible to solve the problem of speculative vaginocapitalism, just removing matriarchat and using patriarchal and father-like fostering father-like political initiatives. Is it possible to remove feministic propaganda, gay propaganda, to lower the vaginocapitalism? Is it possible to fix it with some political and social and economical methods?
Yes, it is possible, and if we look on the USSR, Soviet period of our country, we had no feminist propaganda, we had no gay propaganda. State was more friendly for men. Not enough. Men anyway were working horses, and the women were privileged, but the situation was better for men, and sex was more accessible. Women were oriented to get married in young age, in some 18 years or 20 years. Most part of women got married, and it was a way to solve the problem of sex accessibility for men. Monogamy marriage. It was in the USSR, and now in capitalist Russia, the marriage is just it's just a fake. Women get divorced very easily, and statistics shows us that at about 89% of marriages ends with divorce, and women are the persons who demand divorce from men. So men don't have access to sex after that. And why was such situation in the Soviet period? Because of communism, socialism. It was against of selfishness, of individualism, and it was for collectivism, for collaboration instead of competition, and it helped men to get access to sex with women.
Okay, now about your political vision, political program. Okay, now about your political vision, political program, maybe. You have announced that sex is a vital resource, which is important for men, like food, like healthcare, like any social good. It must be provided by some government, maybe yes, on some society. How you supposed to redistribute the amount of tax? How you supposed to reform, or maybe redone this speculative and unfair access to sex?
Complicated question, and I think women by themselves must decide to do so. We don't talk about any violence. We are against any violence. We are against any kind of rape in any form. We talk about voluntary decision of women by themselves, and how it is possible. They must think, and they must understand that sex is have a great value for man and for the whole society. That when men have sex, they work harder, then they work better, and all the society get progress in the future. It gets much more better results when men don't have sex. When men don't have sex, it leads to criminality, crimes, all the bad things in capitalism we have, because women don't give sex voluntarily for any man.
I understand. Corruption, bribes, some misappropriations, VHS. I understand. They taking, privatizing the money from society to buy sex, or maybe to buy sex from his wife, girlfriend, or maybe some prostitute. Yes, I understand.
Social status to give it to women in exchange of sex. But if women would give sex freely, men it would be not necessary to steal, to lie.
I see. They will behave. They will behave like good citizens. I see. They will behave. They will behave like good citizens, because they have not to steal, to kill people, to rob some orphans, to buy sex. Okay, I see. And say when you will have some collective, some maybe organization, local organization, with your mates, with your comrades, is it possible to invite some women who are using left ideology, who are willing to contribute your little commune, to invite some women from Western world, for example, just to come in, move in, and give sex to every man in your collective? Is it possible to arrange such meetings, including new people?
Wouldn't because of vagina capitalism, no woman would want give it for free when she can get a lot of goods for that in vagina capitalist society. And the only way we can get sex for free is sexual revolution. In sexual revolution, global, all over the world. Because if we have sexual revolution in one country, all the women would go away to the country when they have vagina capitalism.
Out of there, they will vanish, vaporize out of there for highest bidder for their vagina. Okay.
To make them understand how sex is important, not for a single man, but for the whole society.
So you're about to promoting free sex. So you're about to promoting free sex, social values, social principles, left ideology, and fostering and educating women to fix them. Not to rape, not to bribe, not to use some illegal methods, but just to prepare good behaving women.
I agree to buy sex. They agree to give women some goods, some wealth, their social status in exchange of sex. So education of men is also a very important part of our activity, of our work.
Have you started such an education between your friends? Have you started such an education between your friends, between your mates, between your comrades in your organization?
That I talk about that to broad quantity of people. So I promote my views to the society. That's how I work.
Okay, I know also that somehow you are connecting. Okay, I know also that somehow you are connecting with those your ideas of vaginocapitalism and fighting vaginocapitalism to some tantric Eastern methods of spiritual life and to some religious issues. Would you please tell a few more details about how sex is connected to religion?
I was an Orthodox believer, but also I do yoga, and I studied some Tantrism and Taoism texts, Dao's sexual secrets, and understanding of what sex is comes from that doctrines, Daoism, Tantrism, and I put it into a basis of my theory. This spiritual, religious basis. And you see, I'm not Marxist. I am a more Christian communist and spiritual communist. I use Marxist political theory to develop my own theory. But you see, Marxism is very old for modern world, and no classes described by Marx now. There is no workers, there is no capitalists now. There are men and women. That is new classes. So we use Marxism political theory, but we change it, we transform it using Asian spirituality and the forms of religion that existed in ancient times, because sex is the same. It was 400 years ago, and it is the same now. But in ancient times, people had better understanding what sex is. There was no gay sex and masturbation and any other things that imitate sex, but that is not sex in itself. Sex, it is only men and women, and sexual intercourse between men and women.
Okay, say the final question. It's about tough science like biology. Okay, say the final question. It's about tough science like biology. Have you studied the other eight hominids? Have you studied their behavior of higher primal creatures and their societies? Do you have some evidence of selling sex, or maybe living as comrades with sharing sex, with paying sex for sex? How comes it in the nature, especially in species or collectives which are similar to human collective and human style of life?
Monkeys, for example, and they discovered such an effect as hypergamy. Hypergamy, then female species wants the most strong, the nicest male species in their flock or their surroundings, and only a few male get sex from female species, and other almost 90% of male don't have sex. That is how happens in animal worlds. And in human society, females, they show the same results. They want only nicest or strongest men, and other men, they deny them. They don't have sex with women.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Alex, for your discussion. Okay. Oh, thank you, Alex, for your discussion, for delivering your point of view. For our viewers, I remind that we were talking with activist and left-wing actioner Alex Поднебесный. He has invented some extraordinary mix of theory of Karl Marx and of some reproductive, sexual, gender habits of people. It is called vaginocapitalism, and we were discussing it for the first time. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please send your questions. We try to produce more videos with other activists of anti-feminist left front movement. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Sorry for my poor English. I don't have much time to practice. I hope you'll excuse me. Thank you for watching.